Morning, Coach.
Good
We'll
morning.
get started with Dave Zingaro and then Jimmy.
Hey, good morning, Doug. A few injury update questions for you here. Zach Ertz, Miles Sanders, Jack Driscoll, Malik Jackson, Kayvon Wallace, the guys who got injured yesterday. Do you have updates on some of them?
Actually, I don't, guys. I'm actually going to have more updates later today. I haven't done the medical report yet with our docs, so I really don't have anything to update on the injury front.
If I'll follow up, then the guys who didn't play in the game: Lane Johnson, Matt Pryor, Deshaun Alshon. Where are they? Do you expect to have any of them back this week?
Well, obviously, Alshon and Deshaun have been practicing with us and Deshaun last week. And so, obviously optimistic. Short week. You don't know how guys are going to respond, physically. We'll see where they're at because we don't, with short weeks, we don't get actual live reps in practice. So we keep everything more of the traditional walkthrough. And so that's kind of where we're at. Lane Johnson's in that same boat with those two guys.
We'll go to Jimmy and then Ruben.
Hey, Doug, just to clarify your reasoning on the 2-point conversion down 11, is the logic similar to what you explained a couple years ago in going for 2 and you're down by 8, but just with the added need for the field goal tacked on?
Sure.
You know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's it's the probability of giving yourself the best chance to winning the football game. In it basically, when you're down 17-8, you know that a touchdown and a field goal wins the game. So, so you take all those probabilities into account. I think there was just over 7 minutes to go. Third quarter, I think it was. In that situation. So, yeah, it kind of falls in line with that, and it allows us as an offense, allows me as a play caller and a decision maker to understand exactly what we need moving forward, whether we accomplish our goal and are successful on the 2-point attempt or we're not. Then it gives us an opportunity to, we know exactly what it has to happen now the rest of the game.
Yep, understood. Thanks.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ruben, and then Kristen.
Hey, good morning, Doug. In the event that you do have to play without Miles for any period, can you just talk about what you have behind him? I think I asked you about this a few weeks ago, just about Boston and Corey. The production really hasn't been there. Is there a chance we might see Huntley a little more? Is Killins possibly back in the mix? How do you see that position right now?
Well, I think if hopefully Miles is okay and he's available, but Boston, Corey, Huntley are the guys that would be in that running back by committee, so to speak. Would be our next move. Obviously, Killins is an opportunity as well. It would just depend on the rest of the roster, as you know, to get him up. We know Boston has played. We know Corey's played. Huntley's the only one that's really limited from the standpoint of playing, but we got confidence in all three of those guys to be able to get the job done.
Kristen and then Tim.
Good morning, Doug. I know the short week obviously isn't great injury-wise, but is there a sense that, the short week can kind of help you guys flush the last few weeks of the season a little bit quicker?
Well, obviously it can, to get back out on the field, this afternoon and focus on another opponent. I mean, obviously the New York Giants, it's a division opponent, and games that we have to, you just understand you're the NFC East, right? I mean, everything's still kind of up for grabs, and we're just trying to figure out how to win a game and how to get guys healthy to play and where we are that way. But it does give you a sense of sort of you kind of get rid of the past and you're focused on the next opponent approach, and so that's kind of what today's about, what tomorrow's about, and obviously playing on Thursday night at home, gives everybody a little excitement moving forward this week.
Tim and then Jeff.
Doug, we've seen Carson on a number of occasions now, kind of really light up at the end of games and pull the team back and engineer all these scoring drives. I'm wondering what you think comes out of him in that moment, and is there any way to kind of harness that? So he's doing that more, through the other three plus quarters on a consistent basis.
It's sometimes you get into your, which you don't ever really want to get into your 2-minute offense quite as early as we had to yesterday. But your 2-minute offense can help you. Your up-tempo offense can help you. And then as the game progressed too, we understood that, how we could protect, how we could attack, and we had to be smart a little bit yesterday too, because when we lost Driscoll towards the end of the game, I mean, now we got another offensive lineman who really just showed up this week to play, and we had a right guard in there that was basically first week of practice, and we had guys that were young guys that were playing, but so you play a little more your 2-minute offense in those situations, and then you focus on your one-on-one matchups. For us, it was Travis Fulgham on the outside, and Rich Rod came up big for us, late in the game when Zach went out. But that's really, I guess, why he, sort of lit up at the end of the game, or at least in the second half. But you never want to really get into that situation, because that means you're coming from behind, and your 2 scores or more down. And but credit to the guys. I mean, these guys battled their tail. They fought. Carson played tough. They all played tough and gave us an opportunity there at the end.
Jeff and then Zach.
Doug, you've spoken before about how the truncated offseason affected the team in some regards in relation to some of the new faces you brought in the coaching staff. I'm wondering what kind of effect that may have had on the medical staff and the changes that were made and bringing a new head trainer and a new strength sports science guy. Has that had any correlation to the struggles that you've had with injuries so far this season?
No.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Bo.
Hey, Doug, what's the plan at right guard this week?
Well, we got some options. As maybe as crazy as that sounds, we do have some options at guard. We got, obviously Opeta can play. Herbig can move in there. We have Jamal Brown. We're hopeful prior with the being on the COVID list. I believe we can get him back this week as well. So we'll have some options there moving into this week, and we got to do what's best for the football team, best for the offense, and we'll make those determinations here pretty quick.
If Pryor is cleared, is that still his job?
Yeah, I'd tell you it's difficult this week because it's a short week. Zach, you understand? I mean, it's if we get him back, it's hard to get the reps to be ready to be a starter. It'd be different if we had a full week and we're playing on Sunday or Monday. It's just something that we have to look at and evaluate, because some of these other guys are going to be getting the bulk of the reps today and tomorrow.
Thanks.
Bo and then Les.
Hey, Doug, on the 2-point conversion at the end of the game, I know you said this morning that maybe you should have called the timeout, but on the execution of the play itself, is Rodgers supposed to block Judon, who makes the tackle? Is there a missed assignment there?
We had obviously the play call. Yeah, I as you heard this morning, obviously you guys tuned into WIP and listened to my comments. So, a timeout in that situation could have been beneficial, probably to get the play or a better play possibly in there. So that's on me. We didn't execute as an offense, and that's coaches and that's players. But I'll say this, that that didn't lose us the football game. Obviously, it was a big play that could have tied the football game. We had opportunities throughout the course of the game to really make a difference, in this football game. So, I talked to the team a lot about, 3, 4, 5 plays a game, could determine the outcome, and some of that's decisions on coaches too. So we all had a hand in it, and we can definitely execute that play a little better.
Les and then Mike K.
Hey, Doug. With Miles Sanders out, could we see more use of Jalen Hurts? Do you have like a specific idea of the plays you want him to be in for, or is it kind of more open to, could he be in there for 20 or 30 snaps if is that viable?
Well, first of all, in Miles's case, we haven't made a determination yet if he's out or not. I'm waiting on more reports this afternoon. They're all getting evaluated right now. So obviously we're hopeful there. In the case of Jalen, obviously you saw yesterday some of the what we call X plays, or some of the plays that are sort of unscouted with him, have been productive for us in the last 3-4 weeks, and I think it's something that we've got to continue to explore. It does give us the ability to run the football with him. So he's like another, I don't want to say he's another running back, but he's a quarterback that can run the zone read, plays from the quarterback position. So it's something that we're definitely going to continue to explore each week. If it's conducive, it has been successful for us, and I could see things, continuing, each week that way.
Mike and then Rob Motti.
Doug, I know every year it's a new team, but you still have several guys who have been around these kind of resilient comebacks at the end of the season, pretty much every year the last 3 years. How important is that, having that experience and those voices in that room, with the team being as young, so much younger this year, just moving forward with the outlook that you guys face?
Are you who are you?
Brandon Graham, Rodney McLeod, Jalen Mills, Carson Wentz, they've all said that they're not panicking because they've been through this type of thing before. How important is that when discussing the outlook of the season with the young kid?
Yeah, no, I understand now what you're saying. It's huge. It's extremely huge because sometimes in this league, young players are learning, right? They're trying to figure this thing out. Every team you play is good. Everybody has good players, and so it's a credit to those veteran leaders on the football team. That's why I make these guys captains every year and put them in leadership roles, because they're the guys that I lean on in times like this to rally the troops, right? To bring the young guys along, because some of these young guys have had a lot of success, college, go back to high school, and now they're faced with a little adversity, or maybe it is an injury or something of that nature. And this is where, veteran players who have been through it, and as recently as the last couple of seasons with us, know how to deal with it, know how to handle it, know how to pull these guys along. And so I think it's valuable to have the experience that our guys have had. And listen, nobody wants to go through a season with the amount of injuries that has piled up on us right now. But you saw it yesterday. There's no quit in these guys. There's always a constant battle to the end, and that's encouraging moving forward.
Rob and then Nick.
Doug, the offense has scored 57 points against two really good defenses. You're going to win a lot of your games if you're scoring 29 and 28 points. So considering how depleted you are, and there were a lot of points left on the board, mistakes, drops, and stuff like that, how impressed are you that you're able to still put up those amounts? And how much better can this offense be when you guys get healthier and execute?
Well, that's the thing that I have to focus on as an offense, right? I mean, the last couple of weeks, even going back to San Francisco, team that was in the Super Bowl, and I know they had some injuries on defense, but it's still a really good defense, and you come away with a win there, and then Pittsburgh, what you did at Pittsburgh, and then of course Baltimore being, I believe the number one defense in the National Football League, statistically speaking. And to have really in all three of those games, you win one and had chances to win the other two. And so for us, that's the part that we have to stay focused on, right? We got to stay focused on the positive and and keep coaching our players. We've got some young players that are getting valuable experience. I think of John Hightower, who has just showed massive improvements each week, and even though maybe one play yesterday could have made a difference, you know what? He came back later in the game, and Carson found him again for another 50-yard completion. So, those are the things that we gotta build on. And Travis Fulgham and Greg Ward and some of these young players that are playing. I even think about the defensive guys. Kayvon Wallace, who is getting valuable experience out there, at the safety spot and playing special teams. Our young linebackers played yesterday. So all of that is what's encouraging moving forward. And we know that we've got, some of our veteran players that are getting healthy, and hopefully we get them back soon, and just it kind of will solidify, everything for us. So we just gotta keep it together, keep it tight, keep focusing on, 1 week at a time, and but I am encouraged by what we've done, even though we haven't necessarily won the game.
We have time for a couple more. So Nick and then John McMullen.
Hi, Doug. You have the short week here now, obviously. You've had a lot of success traditionally in these situations, even when you've had a lot of injuries. Without giving too much away, what's kind of been your success? And has it been maybe the fact that maybe you've narrowed your focus a little bit, simplified the game plans? How do you plan to approach this week? And why do you think you've been so successful with that in the past?
And honestly, I make light of it, but my wife tells me all the time that you can put a game plan together in a day and go win a game on Thursday night. Why can't you do that for a Sunday game, right? So she kind of kids me a little bit that way. But I do think that there's some validity, so to speak, to keeping it simple, to going back to some of your training camp type plays, utilizing all your personnel, and just it and a lot of it too falls on the players. It's a more of a narrow focus, a laser focus for a couple of days, focusing on the game plan. It's all about mental preparation over the physical, and really, we just keep. I talk about the preparation and hard work all the time. Well, weeks like this, it's going to take preparation and hard work to get it done again, with where we are as a football team. But, I give a lot of credit to the players too. They respond well to the messaging that I present, and they handle the week really good.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, Doug. You kind of mentioned nobody wants to go through these injuries, and you just mentioned messaging. Do you ever use the success of somebody like Travis or Jordan if you do need younger players? I know you're not clarified on the injuries, but if you need Huntley this week, if you need Sua this week, do you ever use that as a messaging tool?
I do from time to time, but I don't like to focus on one particular guy. I keep it team oriented, but I have used those guys. Some of those guys you mentioned, I've used those, and obviously others, for part of the messaging and just to kind of get your point across sometimes. But I try to keep it focused more on the team aspect of it, and I talk about individuals. Individuals play, but teams win, and it's about the team. And those guys do have a big impact, obviously in the success of the team.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.